Okay, we're back yet again. Myself and Kyle Qualls with our TV executive content lover hats on, not our player hats, not our host hats, for another playoff selection show. Kyle, is this the fourth one and the third one in this format? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the third.
Like third too. Yeah.
Yep, they've all been very exciting so far. Looking forward to another one. So let's just dive straight into it. We're going to cut right to the chase here. We're not going to string anyone along. It's the season 7 selection show, back and better than ever. So we have the 4 division winners. We have Lick My Qualls, the 1 seed, for the first time since season 3. So it's been a
Wow.
while since we've been the 1 seed, yeah. And a little fun trivia fact, never won the title except when we were the 1 seed. So that's something to keep in mind.
We're notable front runners.
Yes. 2 seed Frankchester United, their best ever season, 9-5, and certainly the biggest surprise division winner.
Oh, for sure.
And we have the 3 seed. That's right, the 3 seed, not the 4 seed. It's the Chop House at 8-6. Will they be thrown off by their unusual seeding calls?
They said themselves that they just kind of mailed in their picks because they didn't think they'd actually get to pick anyone. But here they are. They will have one choice. Mentally illest will be the ones not able to choose their opponent.
That's right. Mentally Illest is the 4 seed at 7-7. They won their division tiebreaker over Hive Mind, who are actually the last team in. The at-large bids, the Hypnotoads, with the best record ever for a non-division winner at 10-4. The Chicken Hawks with their worst ever season in the Alex era, but still at a very strong 8-6, and they have the highest question percentage in the league. So those are 2 teams that no one's going to want to willingly pick. Then you have Pool Boy, who are very strong this season, an 8-6 season as well. And lastly, you have Hive Mind, 7-7, but championship pedigree. For the record, 3 of the 4 at-large teams have won a championship. Only 1 of the 4 division winners has won a championship. So that's kind of a weird power imbalance between the division winners and the at-larges this season.
Yeah, a bit of a changing of the guard. This is a real interesting field because a lot of the at-large bids finished above the division winners in the overall standings. But of course, we have divisions, and this is the format we have.
That's right. Okay. And as we all know by now, I'm sure, the first round is 10 categories, a normal game, but the semifinals and the final will be 15 categories, so longer. And the top 4 teams were able to choose their at-large opponents in order of seeding. So what to watch for tonight? Frankchester United will get their first ever non-Lick My Qualls playoff game. Every time they've made the playoffs, they've played us in the first round and lost. Crazy how rent-free, like, we're just a massive institution, because when they won last night, the very first thing they said was, thank God we don't have to play Lick My Qualls in the first round.
Yeah, not only that, but they're on the clear other side of the bracket, so they won't see us until a hypothetical finals matchup.
That's right. And then the other question, it's really a real Sophie's choice between the Toads and the Hawks, Qualls. If you had to pick one of the 2 of them, who would you take?
So the Chicken Hawks got off to an 0-3 start, and since then have been pretty consistently good. We've seen Hypnotoads kind of have a few laughers, even despite the 10 wins. So I might have to go with Hypnotoads there.
Okay, well, let's see what the teams did. We're going to get right into it. The first region is the Frimbus region. This is going to be the home of our 2 seed, Frankchester United. Like I said, Frankchester United 9-5, their best ever season. Qualls, how surprised are you to see them up at the 2 seed?
Pretty surprising, but I predicted Frank to be an all-star at the beginning of the season. It wasn't him per se, his improvement that got them here. It was Craig. It was Craig becoming not a 2, but a 1B, even though he's technically the 1A because Steven won second man of the year and also had more points.
Yes.
So a really strong 1-2 punch there.
Yeah.
And Frank provides entertainment value as always.
Exactly, yeah. Really a 2-headed monster. I believe one of only 2 teams to have 2 all Ocho players, with the other one being the Chicken Hawks. But yeah, Craig, huge improvement this year. Steven also maybe a minor improvement. Like you said, very odd. Craig wins most improved. Steven wins second man of the year. Steven outscores Craig in the end, but that was thanks to a crazy last week. And we're going to find out who they picked right now. They are going to get Pool Boy Trivia Team. Now, Pool Boy is a very interesting situation because Noah is out of the country next week.
Mhm.
Um, I've explained to Pool Boy, as are our league rules, that there are no subs in the playoffs. So Pool Boy have a choice. They can either permanently remove Noah from their roster and play Sammy, the sub that they've used the last couple weeks, or they can play short next week and then go back to Noah if they advance. Well, what do you think the right call is there, Qualls?
I think I think casting Noah aside is always the right move. Not actually. I think if there's one thing that we've learned from the Trivia League and also John Green's FIFA playthrough is that you never look ahead. You only look at what's in front of you. And if you're playing the long game of we need Noah for the later rounds, then you might not get past this one. So I don't know. We'll see. What's interesting about this is that means that someone picked. Oh wait, no, they're the 2 seed. Never mind. Shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, so I don't think this one is a surprise, but it's not going to be an easy matchup. I mean, I would say Pool Boy maybe 50-50 shot here, even though it's a 2v7 matchup. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a really, could
Pool
go either
Boy,
way.
a very impressive 9.9 points per game. That's 139 total. The exact number that Sandusky's daycare had, but missed the. And despite the fact that Pool Boy True Team also gave up more points than Sandusky's daycare, but this isn't about them. This is about Pool Boy and Frank Chester, and this will be a really interesting matchup.
But it didn't seem like Sandusky's daycare were going to get mentioned during the playoff preview selection show, so at least they have that on their record. So that's our first matchup. It's the Frimbus region. It's Frank Chester United and it's Pool Boy. And they will play the winner of the Last Dance region, featuring the 3 seed, the Chop House, in their last ever season in the Ocho. This matchup could be their last ever game in the Ocho. They're the one-time finalists. They made the playoffs every season of their existence, and they've always been the 4 seed every single year except 2. Both times the 3 seed, this being the second time. What are you expecting out of Chop House in their last run, Qualls?
Consistency, as they've always been consistent. I do think they are going to try and go out with a bang. I think this will light a fire under their asses, much like the Ocho logo is on fire in their logo. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see who they're playing.
Let's see who they're playing, Qualls. They're going to be facing the Chicken Hawks.
Oh
They
my
picked
God.
the Chicken Hawks over, it could have been Highvine or Hypnotoads as their last option. What do you think about that selection?
Oh, that's really interesting. I did not. I was think as I was hosting their game like 20 minutes ago. Also, really love that we're doing it right after. It gives real Selection Sunday vibes, as it should. Um, I was like, oh, they really need to win this, or they're going to have to face the Chicken Hawks in the first round. And here they are. They won, and they picked the Chicken Hawks over either Hive Mind or the Hypnotoads. I would imagine they had their option of the Chicken Hawks and the Hypnotoads. Played the Hypnotoads in the final 2 seasons ago and lost. So I don't. I'm really kind of perplexed by this.
Yeah, it's a questionable decision. I mean, obviously the Hypnotoads have the better record. They have shown more fallibility than the Chicken Hawks. The Chicken Hawks' losses have felt a bit more fluky. And the Chicken Hawks, of course, like I said, best question percentage in the league, so you're getting a tough matchup there. So it could be argued that both of the wild cards in the first 2 matchups could be borderline favorites. Of course, not on record though, and that's all that matters.
Mhm.
We will move on to the Branson region. This, of course, featuring your number 1 overall seed, Lick My Qualls, featuring Kyle Qualls, guesser of Charles Branson. Now, we are the number 1 overall seed, but we're on a 2-game losing skid, Qualls. Where's your confidence level going into the postseason?
Pretty good considering one of those losses was me being a little bit of a silly goose. Um, I will say in the game I hosted today, I had a question about the fictional country of the Princess Bride, or not the Princess Bride, the Princess Diaries, the other very good princess movie. And Steven was about to say Genovia before Jeremy blurted out something random and then said final. And I was like, oh, that's what I did.
You felt
Uh,
seen.
yeah, yeah. I think largely we were just having a little bit of fun at the end of the season, but now we'll be locked in.
Right. All right. And we will be playing Hive Mind Trivia Club, another previous champion of the league, 7-7, as they've been almost every season of their existence. Qualls, this is not a matchup that I am overly enthused with.
No, me neither. I wasn't going to be enthused with any first round matchup in particular, especially with a weirdly strong at large field. This was the only at large bid that had a 7-7 record. Everyone else was better. So, uh, I mean, just on that, they were the likely first pick. If they have one flaw, it's that they're a bit one dimensional and that they lean more towards non sports and sports other and really struggle in the sports major categories. Of course, that doesn't make a huge difference in a 10 round game, but yeah, that's my
Yeah, I would say it would if the first round was 15 rounds, they might have been an easier pick, although of course they have beaten us in a 15-round game before. But in
yes.
10 rounds, one of the best two or three niche teams in the league, so that will be very tricky because they'll probably get those, and if we slip up, then it's big trouble for us. Well, that brings us to our last matchup, and it's already set in stone. The Pyongyang region featuring the four seed Mentally Illest. Mentally Illest, maybe the biggest roller coaster of a season of any team. I believe they started off 3-0 or 4-1. Then they hit a huge losing skid, and then they pulled out a bunch of games at the end very narrowly to not only make the playoffs but clinch their division out of nowhere. Best niche team in the league, Qualls.
Yeah, very could have very easily missed the playoffs, but they win their division,
Mhm.
which is really interesting. They had their gym days, their gym era, and then they had uh, their Steven era, and I think they went what 2-1 with gym, or was it 1-2? I can't remember.
I think
Regardless,
it was either 2-1 or 3-1, I believe.
okay, so wow, Steven's really let them down. I'm kidding, Steven. Please don't. That was a joke. But yeah, the best niche team in the league, they really rely on that. And like you just mentioned with the last matchup in a 10 round game, it's definitely more valuable to be a good niche team.
Yep, definitely agree. And as we all know by now, they will be playing the Hypno Toads, 10-4 out of the Trudebeck division. Like I said, the best team to not win their division in any season in league history. Not that they had a choice, Qualls, but obviously a tough matchup. But Hypno Toads really struggling lately.
Yeah, they've Neil's been really like tearing into him in the commissioner group chat. Of course, no longer a player, but still an avid watcher and also owner of the Hypnotoads. They were like basically neck and neck with us for the whole season, and then they kind of fell off in like maybe like 4 weeks ago. Uh,
Mhm.
Towns, rookie of the year. I do think Rishov was kind of robbed, even though Towns had a much better record and was also much better scorer individually. But this is maybe the third matchup where the lower seed is the favorite. So really just wild playoff matchups.
Yeah, and it's just occurring to me now that, of course, the Pyongyang region, that moment happened in the matchup between these two teams. This was also the Roman Emperor's showdown in which Stephen got very intense about stealing Towns' question and getting his own. So, and they got a little heated at the end. Stephen called Towns a fraud live on YouTube. So that's a little spicy angle to this matchup. So yeah, we have really good matchups. Here is the bracket. We have Lick My Qualls versus Hive Mind in the Branson region. They will play the winner of Mentally Illest Hypnotoads in the Pyongyang region. Chop House Chicken Hawks is your matchup in the Last Dance region. And the Frimbus region features Frankchester United and Poolboy Trivia Team. The hosts for this first round will be yourself. It will be Petey. It will be Vigrin. And then Steven and Andrew will make a game and I will host it. So for the first time ever, I'm not going to host a game in a playoff round, but I have a lot of faith in my underlings. I will be hosting a semifinal game and I will be hosting a final round game. And Ethan will be hosting a final round game, and Spencer will be hosting the other semi-final game. However, if Lick My Qualls and Hypnotoads, oh, never mind, because Hypnotoads are on our side of the bracket now. So yeah, it's locked in. Ethan's in the final. He might have had to switch with Spencer. Qualls, I won't ask you to make predictions on every individual matchup because you're going to be hosting one of them. We want to avoid the appearance of impropriety. But just give me a number. How many upsets in terms of seeding do we see in the first round?
Um, I'll say two. Two feels like the safe number. Um, Obviously, I'm betting on ourselves. To quote Larry Nance, whatever Jonte Porter, whatever the fuck his name is. And then yeah, I feel like one of these underdog division winners is just gonna prove that they were the best team all along in one of these games, and then I could see two upsets.
Yeah. Okay. Follow-up question. What do you think is the best matchup on paper, like the most intriguing matchup to you on paper?
Ooh, I'd say Frank Chester Pool Boy. I think
I
that's
agree.
the most evenly matched on paper. Of course, all of these could go either way, but I think if you looked at I don't like have anything off the top of my head, but I think if you looked at their statistics, Frank Chester and Pool Boy are pretty damn close. So
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's maybe the game of the round. What I will say is it's super interesting that Chop House picked Chicken Hawks, so I'll be watching the Chicken Hawks performance very closely compared to the Hypnotoads to see if Chop House made the right call. All right, Qualls, well, there it is, our Season 7 playoff bracket. 3 weeks from glory for us, or maybe any other team, but hopefully us because it's been a while. Any last thoughts on this? Any last words to sign off here?
I will just say that in the Chop House game that I hosted, I mentioned that if they make it to either the first place game or the third place game, they that will be their 100th Ocho game. And Footer said, "No, we want 99. That's cooler than 100, but it's impossible because you either if you lose in the semifinals, you play another
Yep.
game." So I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay, well said. All right, well, Qualls, thanks for joining me as we revealed the teams. Really looking forward to this playoffs. Like I think we've said a lot, we keep reinforcing this, but maybe like the most interesting playoffs ever in terms of the seeding and potential upsets and like not knowing what's going to happen. So really looking forward to that. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you out on the trivia battle.